Well, a very good afternoon to you all. Welcome to this 12th day of national lockdown. And I'm Mark Long, Rector of St Andrew's in Newlands, Cape Town. Today's Eucharist readings all are quite life-giving and have a lot of interesting aspects to them. But the reading from Isaiah 49, verse 6 says the following: "It is too light a thing that you should be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the survivors of Israel. I will give you as a light to the nations, that my salvation may reach to the ends of the earth." For me, it's a wonderful picture of just the inclusiveness of God's love for our world and for all people. And it reflects something of the nature of Genesis 1, in which God creates, Genesis 1 and 2, in which God creates us in his image, that all human beings carry God's image. And the whole purpose of evangelism for me is that we enable people to understand, as we have come ourselves, to understand that God really loves us, and that we do carry that beautiful image in and of ourselves. I touched on orthodoxy yesterday. Not that I think orthodoxy is unimportant. It's a wonderful benchmark against which we can measure our own more personal musings, perhaps, around faith and life. My issue is the manner in which so often we implement it, that we leave people on the outside. We draw distinctions between what is acceptable and unacceptable, and forget to then share God's love beyond the boundaries that we set. And perhaps that's where the other reading today comes in, from 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 27. And just a reminder from the writer here: God chose what is foolish, God chose what is weak, God chose what is low and despised in the world. And that part of the reason that he did that was that we should discover something of this wonderfully broad, encompassing nature of God's love. And it goes on to speak of God being the source of our life in Jesus Christ. Jesus, who became the wisdom from God for us, and the righteousness and sanctification and redemption. Wonderful reminder just of who we are, and of God's focus. God's focus is not on the great and the successful. God's focus really is on those that struggle, those that are beyond the boundaries that we set. And part of the call on you and I is to reach out to that, into those spaces, and to make God's love, God's goodness real as we do so. But part of it perhaps is for us just to relax into the joy of what we see in Psalm 71 today. Verse 5 says, "For you, O Lord, are my hope, my trust, O Lord, from my youth." And I think as we continue just to walk this journey through lockdown, as we continue to grapple with the implications of the COVID-19 pandemic, that ability to trust, that ability to hope is so important. And verse 14 says, "I will hope continually, and I will praise you yet more and more." And so my prayer is that we really may embrace that. In the midst of everything, that deep sense of hope that we get through relationship with God may be something that we all draw on. And that in our ongoing relationships, probably largely digitally at this point, we seek to share that with friends, with family, with the communities that we're in contact with. And so on this 12th day, we celebrate God's goodness, and we seek that epiphany, that awareness, that elucidating of all that we are called to as God's people at this time. God bless.